Hey friends, today is the day. I'm so excited. Today I get to share with you the new BK Beauty Nikki LaRose Volume 2 Pro Artist Series collection. It's a collection of 8 brushes, so 1 additional brush than we had in volume 1. Very unique, beautiful shapes. So much detail went into the creation of these brushes, and I cannot wait for you to see them. I cannot wait for you to use them. I cannot wait to hear your feedback on them, you guys. In today's video, I'll be using every single brush, and I'll be talking through all the different uses for it. I'll be showing you different uses for it. I show you how you can use with cream or with powder shadow. Very versatile, as all of our BK Beauty brushes are. These brushes, you guys, I'm going to show you mine here, and I have my 8 that I just used, so they're a little dirty. I apologize for that, but these are, you know, this is real life. Brushes are in action. Brushes are loved. So you have 8 brushes. You have this brush. This is the ultimate contour brush. This is so great for contouring, for bronzing. I use this with cream and powder in the video so you can actually see how it works with both. And I really talk about the detail and the shape of the brush and how you can use it for different parts of the face. This is the ultimate contour brush. This is the N19, and this is the ultimate coverage brush. Now, Nikki designed this to have the shape of like a powder puff. So you notice that it has a very precise triangular shape tip in the upper part of the brush to allow you to really get right there in the inner corner of your eye. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use this to blend out concealer, and how you can also use it to set underneath eyes with powder. This is a really great brush for full coverage. It's a really great brush for packing on powder. If you like to really pack on that powder and set that under eye, you can use this as a contour brush because of the shape of it and the density. It's going to handle cream products really, really well. It's a nice dense brush, but it's also got some movement to it. So you have that ability to pack on product, but also blend out product. And because of its density, it can work with really full coverage, thicker consistencies and formulas. I can't wait for you to see this one in action. I'm so excited about this one. This is the N20, and this is the diffuser brush. And this, I will probably say, if I had to pick one favorite out of this, it would be this. I love them all, of course, but this is the one that I just was so excited about. And I've actually kind of said that this I've been using more than my 112 blush brush, and you guys know I love my 112 brush, and I talk more about that in the video when I'm applying it. But this is a diffuser brush for the face, and it's so great for blush, it's so great for highlight, for cream, for liquid, for powder. This brush is designed to really diffuse, soften edges. You can use this after you've applied your makeup and like just run it around the edges of your blush or your bronzer if you want to really soften and diffuse an area out. So you can use this as a corrector to your makeup, but you can also obviously use it to apply makeup. In today's video, I used it and applied a cream blush. It's beautiful with powder highlight too. This is such a special brush. So much detail went into this brush. This brush is handmade, by the way. So imagine this brush being handmade and cut and shaped by someone by hand. The detail is just insane. It blows my mind when I think about people making these and the quantities that we're making them. So can't wait for you to see this one. I love her. Now this brush is the N20S. So it's also a diffuser brush, but it's a smaller shape and size. And this was kind of like a bonus brush. Initially, we weren't planning on launching 8 brushes. We were going to have 7. But when Nikki and I both saw this one and we were like, oh my God, I need one for the eyes. I need something smaller. And we were kind of going back and forth and like, do we make this one smaller? But if it's too small, then you can't really use it for the face. So we said, you know what? Let's just make an 8th brush. And that is the N20S. In today's video, I use it for liquid and cream shadow. I also use it with powder to really diffuse the eyes. I feel like this is that airbrush tool. Like if you have a photo on your monitor and you got your little mouse and you're using your airbrush tool to smooth it out, this gives you that same type of effect with your makeup. It is just, oh, it's so, so good. This is going to be something that I use in my eye makeup every day. It'll be incorporated whether I'm using it to diffuse shadow after I've already applied it or I'm using it to apply shadow. And I show you how to do both ways in today's video. This is the Precision little blender brush. This is the N21. And in today's video, I use this for eyeliner. I pick up a cream liner and I show you how you can create liner and really work it into the lashes for a very tight line look. You can also use this with powder eyeshadow. You can create a really beautiful soft wing with powder eyeshadow. It is such a great brush for eyeliner. It's tiny, and again, imagine making this by hand, you guys. Imagine people cutting these and shaping them into this fine little detail brush. It truly amazes me. It looks like it's stiff, but it actually has some give to it. So it's very comfortable around the eyes. When you're looking at really detailed eye brushes like this that are getting right there on the lash line, you don't want them to be too stiff because it'll be irritating to the eye, but you also want them to be stiff and firm enough to pick up and move product, especially like cream or liquids, because a lot of eyeliners have that thicker consistency. So this is the perfect blend of being like stiff enough to move, but soft enough for comfort and not feeling like you're scratching your eyes out. This is the Petite Dome Blender. This is the N22, and I love this brush. I show you how you can get a really beautiful diffused lower lash line with this brush. You can use this brush to really shape and like carve out a crease with this. You can use this to blend out lip liner or lipstick. Nikki used this on set on me last week when she was doing my makeup. If you're a pro artist, this would be really great for diffusing creamy lip pencil. It's got a very precise shape, kind of like the shape of a pencil at the tip. It's kind of larger and the tip has a lot of flexibility. So again, very, very soft. It does a phenomenal job of picking up powder shadow and laying it down. And you will see that later in the video when I smoke out my lower lash line with this brush. Then we have the N23. This is the mini multi-detailer brush. And this has a very flat shape. Do you see how thin it is? It's very thin and flat. It's narrow and it has a little bit of a pointy tip. So this is so great for that really detailed work around the eyes. You can get right here in the inner corner with it. Sorry, right here in the inner corner with it. You can also, and I show you this too, I do that, but then I also show you how you can take a shadow on top of a more defined harsh eyeliner, take a shadow and just softly diffuse the edge of that liner and make it a little bit softer and smokier. A really great detailer brush. This would also be great for a lip brush too. It's flat so you can really move and spread a creamy lipstick. I feel like every makeup artist needs to have this and every makeup enthusiast. I feel like these brushes are really great for those of you that just love makeup. You love the process of sitting down and doing your makeup. You look forward to it. You find inspiration in it. You find creativity in applying your makeup. These brushes are for you. Okay, I've got one more and then we're gonna jump into the video, I promise you guys. Now we have the N24, which is similar to the N23 in that it's really thin, right, and flat, but it's got a wider base. It's got a bit more of a square shape with rounded edges. This is really great to carve underneath the eyebrow with concealer or a shadow. This will really pick up shadow. Use the flat side to pick it up, press it to lay it down. I use this to apply like the inner half of my eyelid. I use this for it. It's really great with shimmers because it lays them down very softly. I used a pearl today on my eyes and this brush was perfect for it. Didn't pick up too much, but it definitely gave an impact. I love the curve shape because it's just perfect for the eye and all the curves that come around the eye. So I am so excited about these 8, you guys. I know I've been rambling. There's just a couple more things I have to say and then we'll jump into the video. This is available on bkbeauty.com today, you guys. This set retails for $199, which is actually $26 off the full value of all these brushes. Right now, it'll only be available in the set, but as we have done in all past launches, this will be available in single brush sets. But as we've done with all past prior launches, the singles will be available in a few months. So in a few months, you will be able to buy these individually. So if you pick up the set today and you figure out which are your favorites, in a couple months, you can just buy those favorites individually. And if you don't want to buy the full set and you're waiting till the individuals, those will be available in a few months, you guys, we promise. But the set is available right now for $199. You will get free shipping in the US. Now, I say this not to create panic. I really don't. I'm not trying to make you feel like you need to buy now, but I do want to be very honest with you because I have a feeling we will sell out quickly. We placed our production order and we had to expedite a smaller portion via air freight. Via air freight, you guys, you wouldn't even believe the prices on air freighting inventory. You wouldn't believe it. But it expedites the process of it getting here. And we had this launch date. We wanted to hit it. So we air freighted a portion of our production order. And that's what we have right now. The rest of it is still on its way. It will not arrive for a few weeks though. So I'm saying that because if we do sell out, we will be restocking within a few weeks. There won't be this long leeway of time till we restock. But I just want to be honest with you because and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but this is, as a consumer, sometimes I see brands sell out and then they restock like a few days later. And I'm always like, did you really sell out or did you just want to sell out? So I'm just being honest with you. That's where we land right now, you guys. Yeah, I don't know. I'm blabbing. I'm excited to show you these brushes. I can't wait for you to see them in action. Leave me all your questions and comments down in the description box below. Okay. So if you have any questions, drop a comment. If you end up picking these brushes up, drop a comment, let me know. I'm tagging them in YouTube shopping so you guys can actually shop them live while you're watching this video. If you want to shop it, get it in your cart and still watch the video, you can Just click that little YouTube shopping button. It'll take you to our website and you can check out. You guys, I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to see these. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm so excited to be sitting down and filming this video. This is the first video that I'm actually recording myself using all 8 brushes and sharing them with you. They are no longer a secret, and I'm so excited. Okay, we're gonna go in and I'm gonna apply the new Makeup by Mario foundation. This is the Surreal Skin Natural Finish Foundation. I just bought this yesterday. This is the second time I'll be applying it. I actually filmed a video yesterday using it, and I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel about it. So let's give it another try. Yesterday when I applied it, it looked nice, but it wasn't something that I applied and was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But I also couldn't pinpoint anything wrong with it either. So it might just be one of those that I have to give a little bit more of a chance to. So I'm just gonna go in the center of the face. I'm using the BK Beauty 101 brush just to apply this. I am gonna be using all of Nikki's new 8 brushes in this video, so you will see those in action. I just wanted to use the 101 to get my foundation on, and I just kind of bounce it in the center of the face. And as I'm bouncing it, I'm also moving the brush. So pressing and bouncing the brush like this is the way that you're gonna get the most coverage from whatever product you're using. But you also wanna spread that product so that you don't have any heavy buildup in one particular area of the face. So bounce it to get that coverage, but also move it as you are blending it in. Perfect. Okay. Now this foundation, from my understanding, is supposed to give more of a natural finish, you know, kind of like a natural soft matte finish maybe, whereas his other foundation is supposed to be a little bit more of a glow or a dewy finish. I really like his other foundation, but I naturally prefer more matte or natural finishes just because, you know, I'm here in Texas and it gets hot and I just want my foundation to last all day. And typically we find more longevity in products that have more of a matte finish. Okay, I'm already liking this more than I did yesterday. I am. I don't know why. What could have been different than yesterday or what could have been different today that I can't think of anything. Yesterday I had my Elastin SPF on. Yeah, I don't know. But I do feel like I'm liking it a bit more today than I did yesterday. Next, we're gonna go in with concealer, and I'm using the Sarah Creel concealer. This is the shade 3. Nikki had the shade 2 when I saw her last week, and I was able to test it, and I'm gonna order that one because even though 3 works great for me, I think 2 would even be a little bit better. And I'm gonna just apply this in the inner corner and the outer corner. I'm going to be going in with the new Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N19 brush. Let me show you guys a good close-up of this brush. This is one that I'm so excited about. It has a very unique shape. Nikki designed this to create the shape of a puff. So you know the puffs that you can put in the corner of your eye to set your concealer with powder? She wanted to create that same shape in a brush, but I'm actually going to use this for concealer and for powder. You can use it for both. It's nice because it's got some density to it and stiffness to really pack on product or build out and build full coverage, but it also has some flexibility. Do you see that? It's not a total stiff brick. And I always talk about this, but one thing that I think makes BK Beauty brushes so special and unique is that they have that balance of even the stiff, more dense brushes still have a little bit of give. And I personally think that is so important to have in a brush. When you have a brush that's just too solid, too dense, too stiff, I mean, the idea is that it's going to pack on more product, build more coverage, but if it doesn't have any movement or give, it's going to pack it on, but how are you really going to blend that out? So I feel like even the most dense brushes need to have a little bit of give, and this has just the right amount. This was one that we sampled a couple of times. Nikki and I really discussed and went back and forth on this, and you know, like this was a brush that Nikki and I really worked on. We had a couple of samples of this. We tested different densities of this. The first round we got option 1 and option 2. One was a little more dense, one had a little more give, and we really worked together on this to create the perfect brush. The shape is important, but really it's that density and that give that really make this brush special. And this was one that I think we worked together on this one a lot. You know, I try to kind of just sit back and like let Nikki's vision come to life. And you know, she'll ask me for my feedback and I'll share it, but ultimately I want her to create the brushes that she loves. This was one that we really did, you know, she shared her input, I shared mine. We had similar, but we kind of came together to create this one. It was one that I'm really proud of and I'm really excited. I kind of predict that this is going to be one that's going to be a bestseller. Okay, and I'm just going to take the tip of this brush and spread the product on the lid. Oh, this is so nice. Do you see how quickly that blended out the concealer? I mean, so fast. And I have full coverage from this. I'm just gonna look up and I'm just gonna go over it one more time just to kind of remove any excess concealer that might be there. Then I'm gonna take a tissue. I just have a tissue. It has a little makeup on it now, but I'm gonna kind of dry clean the brush. Now this is just a quick little thing you can do when you're moving from a cream product to a powder product with the same brush. You want to remove any excess product that might be in it. There's no need for me to wash this or clean this with a cleaner. I totally can go from concealer to powder, but I do want to make sure that there's no concealer buildup in this brush, and it's pretty clean. I mean, obviously it has some product in it, but I don't have a lot of product that's making the fibers group together. So I'll be able to go in with powder on this brush. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get the brows on. I've got my brow product here. Now I'm excited because I just bought this brow wax. Where did you go? Here you are. From Benefit yesterday. This is the Precisely My Brow Wax, and I bought it in the shade 2, which is like I think it's like a dark blonde. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna create the shape of my brow first with the Precisely Brow Pencil. Now that I've got the shape, I'm gonna go in with this brow wax, and I really love this. I mean, I just used it yesterday for the first time, but I like a brow gel. I always use a brow gel, and I like one that gives some volume to the brows. Now this isn't like a fiber gel, but this is one that's gonna give some volume. It's got a waxy texture. You do have to kind of build it up to see that waxy texture though. So I'm just gonna comb it through. I'm gonna comb back and then comb through again. So again, I'm just kind of combing through, getting the product off of the wand and into the brows. And then I'm going to kind of back comb it to give a little more volume. And then I'm going to comb it back in place. Now this product, you definitely can see it build as you like layer it. And I do think there comes a point where you can apply too much. So really be mindful about that. You start to really see this product build up in the brow. I think this looks fantastic. But if you feel like you overdid it, which I think I did yesterday, you can always take a spoolie on your brow pencil and comb through to remove any excess. But I love this product. I think this is going to be my go-to brow gel. I want to call it a gel. It's referred to as a wax, but it's like a waxy gel. So good. Okay guys, let's go ahead and set underneath the eyes. I'm going to go back in with my N19 to set powder underneath the eyes. And I'm going to go in with a new product that I also bought yesterday. This is the One Size powder. And yesterday I applied this, and my first initial impression was I was kind of like, it doesn't really give the blurring matte effect that I keep hearing it does, because I heard from a friend like, oh my gosh, you have to get this. I saw this on TikTok and it's incredible and it mattes the skin, and oh my gosh, it looks so amazing. And I love their loose powder, so I thought, oh my gosh, I have to buy this. Now when I first applied it, I applied it with a larger like fluffy brush. I applied it with the N15. Now the N15 is designed to really pick up less product and apply less product in a really natural, soft way. So it's really great when you're trying to layer products very sheerly. But I wanted to actually, and what I realized with this product, you really need to kind of pack it on to get that blurring, mattifying effect. So then I actually went in with the N19 yesterday, and then I applied it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the magic that I keep hearing about. So it was really the different brush application, how it completely changed the way the product performed. So I'm going to go straight into this with the N19, and I'm going to go right underneath the eye, and I'm going to pack this right underneath the eye to set that concealer. Now this powder is really great if you are someone that likes a very blurred matte finish. I mean, just look at the difference here, you guys. Look at this compared to this. This is with no powder, this is with powder. It's like an airbrush tool, it really is. So I'm really using the N19 to really pack this in. This is going to lock in and set that foundation and control oil and shine throughout the day. It is so good. This tip is just so precise. It gets right there in the inner corner, and then you can go right up. You can also turn it on its side if you want to angle up like a lighter concealer or a lighter powder to kind of highlight. So good. Okay. I mean, that's incredible. Look at the difference. It's unreal. Okay, let me go in and do the other side. Now I'm really going to use the N19 to just pack on the powder right in this area. When I powder and set the rest of the face, I'm going to use the N20, and I think this is going to be like my favorite brush of the entire 8, which is saying a lot because I think this collection is incredible, and I'm really proud of the brush designs and shapes that we have, but the N20 is definitely going to be my favorite, and so we're going to go in with that one next. This is the N20. Oh, this is so beautiful. I love her. She is so light and airy. This is the diffuser brush. So this is really like a very pro-inspired brush. This is that little extra step, that little extra tweak that you can do to your makeup, that little extra detail that really takes a good makeup application to like a 10 out of 10 pro level flawless makeup application. These are the little steps and tricks that pro makeup artists do to really elevate your makeup to that next level. So you can use this brush for so many things, and I'm going to show you a few of the ways you can use this brush in this video, but we're going to start first with powder. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to run it and sweep it all in this powder. Now this brush is very opposite of the N19. So the N19 is dense, it's got packed dense fibers. This is light and airy. So this is going to pick up less product and it's going to apply less product in a very light sheer application. So the rest of the face, I want to apply powder very lightly. And this brush is going to do that for me. And you can actually see it. Do you see how this still has a little bit of a glow, but here is completely matte? I applied powder in both areas. I just applied it with different brushes. This is a really great brush for obviously lightly powdering. You can use it on loose powder as well. It's great for blush. I'm going to show you that here in a second. It's great for highlight. It's so nice. You can use this with cream or powder. You can also use this like after you've done your entire makeup, you can use this to like diffuse and soften the edges of your bronzer and blush. And I'm going to make a mental note to show you guys at the end of this video how to do that as well. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go in and apply some structure, some bronzer to the face. This I predict is also going to be a bestseller. We have this beautiful ultimate contour brush. This is the N18. This was another one that Nikki really narrowed in on and wanted to be special. So she really wanted it to have a little bit more of a flat top here so that you could go in and stamp the product for ease, just to make it so easy. Whether you're a makeup artist or a beginner, she wanted it to be very easy and be able to be used by all. So she really wanted you to just be able to go in and stamp the face with it. So you'll notice the top of this brush has a little bit more of a flat shape here in the center of the brush. It does curve out and fan out. You can see that it's nice, thick, and dense, but again, it also has some give to it. So you can use this for cream or powder products. I'm going to go in with cream first. And I'm actually going to take my Natasha Denona. This is a brand new liquid bronzer that I'm loving. It's the High Sculpt liquid bronzer, and this is the shade Bonfire. This is such an amazing product. It is very easy to blend out, very consistent, very pigmented, so it'll definitely give you a high glam look. You have to be careful not to apply too much though, because it is very pigmented. So I'm just going to take a tiny, I mean, you see how much I got, a tiny bit amount, and I'm going to work it into the brush, okay? So I picked it up on my brush, and I'm really going to just kind of sweep that brush and evenly coat it. All right, and then we're going to go straight into the face to create some warmth and a little bit of shape to the face. And I'm just going to press this right on that cheekbone. Do you see what that is doing? Get a little more. So good. You can also take this brush and sweep it into the hairline. It's got a really great shape for that. I'm going to pick it up and use the side of the brush right here to sweep it into the hairline. If you sweep like this with light pressure, you'll get a lighter application. So right on the hairline, I want a little bit of that warmth, but I don't want it to be like so obvious. So do you see how I have some warmth at the hairline? I don't have any here, but I have it here, but it's very soft and natural. So you can literally just tap and stamp the product into the skin and it'll apply and blend out for you at the same time. You can also run this right on the jawline. So if you want to create a little more structure and definition on the jawline, this brush is perfect. It's nice and dense, but it's also going to just really blend out the thickness of this and all of those fibers. You see how many fibers are just packed there? All of those fibers are going to work in blending out for you. Perfect. So do you see? Look at how natural that looks. So good. I'm actually going to go in on the other side, you guys, and use this with powder so you can see how it works with powder. And I'm going to go in with the Dior powder bronzer. I think that I can get away with this. I think that this will kind of similarly look like this, so it won't be so obvious I'm using different products. So I'm going to take my brush and just kind of run it over a paper towel and dry clean it to get off any of that excess cream. And we're going to go straight into this, and I'm actually just going to swirl it around. Oh, this is such a nice product. I love this. If you have not bought this yet or purchased this and you've been on the fence, I love it. I think it's worth it. It's such a nice powder bronzer. I also have to disclaim that it reminds me a lot of the Physicians Formula butter bronzer. So that would be a really fantastic dupe if you don't want to spend the money, but you want a similar type of product. Okay, and so when I apply powder, I'm gonna kind of more sweep it onto the skin. You can like stamp it and press it, but depending on the powder formula, you might have like better payoff if you sweep it onto the skin. And again, I'm gonna go into it and I'm gonna load the side of it up whenever I do the hairline. So do you see I have all that product on the side? We're gonna go right into the hairline. Because this brush is a little more dense, it's gonna pick up and pay off more so than like a fluffy loose brush. So it's a great brush to also use if you have a bronzer that maybe is your like winter shade, like maybe it's a little lighter and you just want more impact. Use a denser brush and it's going to translate to be a little darker on you than say a lighter brush. Perfect. And then I'm going to go and we're going to sweep right here on the jawline. So if you're using a product that's more pigmented or creamy or liquid in texture, you might find that stamping it works better for you. And if you're using a powder, you can also just like sweep and blend it into the skin. Also, using a liquid or a cream and stamping is not going to disrupt the foundation underneath, especially if you have a little powder. Perfect. Okay. Oh, love that. So good. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, let's talk about blush, you guys. Again, I'm going to pull out my N24 Blush. Now, this has become my go-to for blush. I've said this a few times, and every time I say it, I feel a little guilty because I do love my 112. You know I love my 112. My 112, she is my girl. I love her because of her compact little light shape and size. I love how light and airy she is. It gives you a lot of control with blush. You're going to find very similar qualities in the N20, very similar qualities. It's even a little more airy than the 112 and lighter, so lots of control. You can use this for cream and powder. I'm going to go in and I'm going to apply, we're going to go in with my Peachy Glow from the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Sticks. What are these called? These are called Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Sticks. And I'm going to load my brush up and we are just going to apply this on the cheeks. Just going to softly tap. This brush is really great if you want a lot of control with your blush application. So if you are someone that's like, you know what, I don't want to wear a lot of color on my cheeks. I want to be able to have the option to build it and get something light or get something heavier if I want to build it. This brush will give you that control. If you use a more dense brush, you're automatically going to get a lot more color. So if you are someone that knows every time I apply my blush, I want high impact and pigment payoff, then you might want a denser blush brush. But if you're someone that's like, well, some days I want it to be soft and maybe I want it to build it up one day, this is such a great brush for you. Look at that. Oh, so that's a very light application. I'm going to take a little bit more and apply a little bit more. And you really just have to softly tap it. I'm applying the slightest pressure. I'm not pushing hard. Do you see this is making the brush flat against the face? I'm not doing that. I'm really just using those longest fibers. If you look at this brush, you can see that it has longer fibers. The lighter fibers extend. And then those darker fibers, they actually end about like right here. I don't know if you can see that, but here, let me try and get this in focus. So the darker fibers, they go to about right here. And then the little extra tip of this brush is all those lighter fibers. They're very wispy and light. So I'm really just using those to blend and apply this very, very light pressure. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. So pretty. Gorgeous. It also works beautifully with powder blushes. So pretty. This is a true like makeup artist brush. When we were talking about this collection, this was one of like the first concepts that Nikki talked about. And I was like, yes, this is what's missing in the BK Beauty lineup. We don't have a diffuser brush. And I love the shape of it. Sometimes you'll see diffuser brushes that have a bit more of a flat brush head. And I love the round shape of this. The size is perfect too for blush. It's so good. Because it's light and airy, it also works really great for a highlighting brush, like a powder highlight, because it's going to give you a lot of control and prevent you from looking like a disco ball. So good. So you can see that I'm just like really customizing the blush payoff and adding a little more. Comparing the two, yeah, that's perfect. So beautiful, look at that, so, so good. Next, we're gonna go and apply a cream shadow, and I'm opening this brand new cream shadow from Makeup by Mario. I have been loving this formula. I have it in a couple of other shades here. Sandstone is my favorite, and I would recommend getting that one first, but Nikki used the shade Mauve on me last week, and so of course I went out and got it. Mauve is a kind of neutral mauve-y tone. It's actually a little more neutral and browny than you might think. When you think mauve, sometimes you might get this idea of like a purple base. It definitely has more of a cool tone to it, but it's still very neutral. Do you see that? I applied it to the back of my hand, and actually, you know what? I don't even know why I did that. You can apply it straight to the eye with ease. I wanted to talk about the next brush we're going to be using and how you can use it with your hand, but you can also use it by applying directly to your eye too. Okay, so this is the N20S. So sound familiar? We just talked about the N20. This is the same brush, but a smaller brush head. This was actually an addition. Initially, we were just going to do the 7 brushes, but then we loved this one so much. We were like, we need this for an eye brush. And we were trying to like cater down this size. At first we were like, okay, we want to be able to use it for the eyes too. Should we make it smaller? But then we're like, if we make it too small, then you can't really use it on the face. And so we just went back and forth and I was like, why don't we just make another brush? So this was actually an unexpected addition. So it's the same, all the same qualities that I talked about with the N20 you get in the N20S. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to use this to blend and sheer out this shadow. It's so soft. So again, it's just going to diffuse that shadow. Look at that. So quick, so easy. It is on the larger side for an eye brush, which is really great for diffusing because when you diffuse, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use this product that we did on the back of the hand. Because when you want to diffuse, you want to make sure that the brush can really blow out a shadow or blow out edges, you know, really diffuse and blow that out. If it's too small, you're not going to have that movement in the fiber. So that's why you'll find that this brush head is a little bigger. And you can see that it works great either by, you know, applying it to the back of your hand and working it into the brush like an artist palette, or applying the product directly to the lid and just blending it out. The key is though, with this particular eye cream, is blending it out quickly because once it dries, it sets. I mean, most of them do, right? That's how they're designed to be. So you want to make sure that you don't give it too much time to dry down. In fact, I'm removing it from my hand before it dries down. Otherwise, I would have a permanent mark there. Maybe not permanent, but it would be there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and dry this off, dry clean it off so that I can go back and use this for powder later in the application process. Next, we're going to take the N24 and I want to show you the shape of this brush. So this brush is a nice thin eye brush. Do you see how thin this is? It's very, very thin. It's not dense and fluffy. Very thin, very flat. It's got a pretty nice straight tip with a little bit of curvature on the edges. So it's not completely squared, but it does have a slight square shape with a little bit of rounded edges. This brush can be used for so many things on the eyes. You can use this to really carve out underneath the brow. I know Nikki used this to apply concealer under my brow when we did a photo shoot and she really wanted to carve out the brow. She uses for concealer and that does a great job. I think she actually uses for contour on the face for really detailed work. I'm going to use it in how I would say is kind of the most practical day-to-day usage. And I'm going to take this really pretty shimmery shadow and load up the side of the brush. And we are going to apply this right in the inner corner of the eye. Because it has a little bit of that curve, it really does allow you to get right there in the inner corner of the eye very easily. And I'm just going to really just sweep this in that inner corner and kind of spread the shadow out. Oh, that's so pretty. This is going to be a great packer brush. So if anytime you want to apply shadow and you really want to pack it down, this is a great brush for that. Because of its flatness, it's almost like using your fingertip with a little more control. This is great also for cream products. So if you have cream shadows you want to use and apply this with, this would be great for that. Okay, and then I'm going to take whatever's left on this brush and I'm just going to go right under the brow. Now this shadow is pretty shimmery. So one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to go from the product to the brow. I just did this brow because I had a little left over. I'm going to pick up some more here, but then I'm actually going to blot it on my hand first to get off the excess. And then I'm going to go back and do the under eye here. See, even that is too much. Do you see how shimmery that is? So I'm going to have lighter pressure and I'm just going to go really soft. But this brush is really designed to pick up and lay down. So pretty. Okay, look at that. That's really beautiful. I love that. So I have a little bit of brightness, a little bit of light in the inner corner. Then I'm going to go back to my N20. This is the one I used for the cream shadow. Again, you can go from cream to powder. Just really make sure that you remove that excess cream before it dries down and groups together the fibers. If you do use the same brush and you go back between cream and powder, I would recommend washing it pretty often. You know, when our brushes are really built up with excess makeup and we don't clean them often enough, it will really impact the performance of your brushes. So to have the best performance, always make sure that you have clean-ish brushes. Now I'm going to go into this matte brown shade right here. You know what, I'm actually going to mix between these two. I'm going to do this lighter kind of warm shade and this cool tone brown. We're going to grab them together. And I'm going to apply this right here in the outer corner, really softly first. I want to see how much I'm getting off. Okay, good. So even though that shade is dark, because this brush is very light and airy, and the fibers of the tip are not dense, they're very sparse and kind of airy, it's not picking up and like packing down a lot of shadow. So again, it gives you that really beautiful diffused look. So I'm going to go in the outer corner to get most of the product off the brush and onto the skin. Once that's on the skin and the brush is not loaded with product, then I'm going to sweep back and forth to get that really beautiful, I call it like the airbrush tool. It's like having a little airbrush tool, like you have your mouse on your computer and you're airbrushing the edge edges, that's what this brush is gonna do. And I'm just gonna sweep it back and forth, back and forth. You know what this reminds me of? I took a Scott Barnes masterclass last year, and that's one little hack that he does is he diffuses out the crease at the very end. And I feel like this brush does just that. It diffuses everything so beautifully. Oh, so pretty. It's also nice because I'm working with a really cool tone shadow in that mauve color, and then I'm going in with this really warm peanut butter shade. And if I used a brush that packed it on too much, there'd be a really big contrast there. But using this brush, you're not really seeing that contrast. You're just seeing a little like fusion of the two shades. The key with this is just having a very nice light hand. Do you see how far I'm holding the brush back? I'm holding it really far so that way my hand has a lot of movement. I love lightweight brushes because they really allow you to really have a lot of movement and flexibility with the brush so you don't over apply. I think that's so important. Do a little bit more just to even things out. So beautiful. Oh, so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with my N19. I always like to do this after I apply eyeshadow, is go in with a brush that I use for my powder and just kind of clean up to make sure we don't have any excess. Perfect. Okay, let's go into eyes. I've got this new little smolder eyes from Tarte. These are smolder eye sticks. It's like a chubby eyeliner, and you've got a little smudger on the other side. I am going to use, oh, I'm excited to show you this. This is the N21. It's a tiny, tiny precision blender brush. I love to use this for eyeliner. You can use it for cream, you can use it for pencil liner, you can use it for shadow liner. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take this pencil, it's so creamy, and I'm gonna go straight into this with the brush, and we're gonna line the eyes with this brush. This brush has a very, very tight, fine shape, so you'll have a lot of control. You can even kind of work this into the lashes if you want like a really tight line. Especially if you have hooded eyes or eyes that don't have a lot of visible lid. Using this brush and just working your eyeliner into your lashes is going to give you that definition, but not take up all the precious real estate on your eyelid. Oh, so good. Look at that. Do you see that? Look at how tight that is. You can see, like, you barely notice liner when you look here, but when you compare the two eyes, there's obviously a difference, right? You can see what that liner does for the eye. I'm going to kind of wing this out a little bit. And you can do the same trick with shadow if you want. You can do like a wing liner with shadow if you want a really soft wing. Or you can apply the pencil liner. That's what we'll do on the other eye. I'll apply the pencil liner on the actual lid, and then I'll take this brush to spread it out and create the shape that I want. See what that is? It's a little baby wing. Let's do that. So let's take the liner on this side and apply it straight to the lid. And I'm really just kind of loading it up. I'm not worried about it being too perfect because this brush is going to fix everything. And then we're going to pull it out. Perfect. Oh yeah, look at that. So good. Now this eye is definitely a little different than this one. Do you see that? So that's the difference between applying it straight to the eyelid and then using the brush to apply it. Not one's better than the other, it's just different, right? So this is definitely more of a liner look, where this is a very subtle liner look. So you can see that this brush will give you that variety. I do have to even things out though. So let's go to the other side and let's even everything out a little bit. So I'm just gonna go and add a little more. There we go. Take the brush. Now, when doing this, do you notice how I am a lot closer to the ferrule with the way I'm holding it? I'm not holding it so far back like I was when I wanted a more diffused look. With this, I have a thicker product I'm working with, more detail, so I'm really just getting in there and getting really close to the ferrule to give me that control. Perfect. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, there we are. Next, I'm gonna go in with the N22. This is the Petite Dome blender, and look at her. She is so beautiful. She kind of reminds me of having the shape of like a pencil brush, but a little bit larger. And there is a lot of give here, you guys. I want you to see this. There is a lot of give here. It's very, very soft. I mean, obviously it's gonna be a little stiff because of how short it is here, but the tip is so soft. So it's, when you actually put this on the eye, it will apply and pick up and apply a lot of powder, but it also will really softly blend because of how much give there is at the tip. It's so soft and so comfortable. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go back into this palette, and we're gonna grab this light shade, this like, well, I say light, it's more of a mid-tone kind of matte shade. We're gonna load the brush up, and I'm just gonna sweep this on my lower lash line, okay? Look at how much that applies. Do you see that? I mean, it really, really applies, you guys. But because it has that soft tip, even though it's gonna pack shadow on, you have the ability to soften it and blend it out. It gives you really the best of both worlds. It's a packer brush, but it also blends very, very nicely. It's so good. You could also use this to create like a really defined crease if you wanted. If you wanted to go in with a dark shade and create a really defined crease, you could do that. You could use this to blend out lipstick or lip liner if you're a makeup artist. This would be really beautiful to like feather out a lip liner. If you have a creamy lip liner formula, you can take this and just run it over and it'll really feather that out. Oh, look at this. This gives a really pretty diffused look. And I'm actually going to kind of thicken that line to really diffuse it and blow it out. So good. Okay. And the lash brush we're going to go in and finish the eyes with is the N23. And similar to the N24, it's a very thin brush. Do you see the profile of it? It's very thin. It's got a more narrow shape, a smaller shape, and the tip of it is more kind of pointed, more tapered. It gives you that like really precise tip to get right there in any corner of the eye, under the corner of the eye. You can use this for liner as well. If you want to apply a powder liner and just really kind of feather it out, this will work great. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use this. I'm going to pick up that light shade that we used. I used the N24 initially to pack this on in the inner corner, but I'm going to use this brush to kind of line the lower inner corner. Oh, look at that. When I worked at MAC years ago, they had these positions called senior artists, and those were the artists that did all the makeup for like the campaigns that you would see, you know, on the displays and everywhere. They would also be the artists that would go and key New York Fashion Week shows, so they were like the elite artists. And I'll never forget the one we had for our region. Her name was Gina, and she would call this little tip instant celebrity. She would say whenever she would do celebrities makeup, she would pop a little bit of light brightness like that right in that inner tear duct, and it just is like instant celebrity makeup. It gives you that high glam look. It opens up the eyes. It's just like so beautiful. Again, that little tiny extra detail that changes the entire makeup look. I'm gonna use that brush in that way. I'm also gonna show you how you can use this brush if you wanna like soften a liner or smoke out a liner. So now that we have the liner on, it looks great, but let me show you another way you can use this brush. Again, the N23, I'm gonna go in into this matte brown shade right here. And I'm gonna load the brush up on either side, tap off the excess, and I am literally just going to kind of sweep this over that line. What this is gonna do is it's gonna soften that line a little bit. You're still gonna see it because it's a very dark liner and it is completely dried down and set, so I can't move it anymore, but I'm taking a shadow and I'm just smoking out the edges. So instead of it looking like a really defined line, it's gonna have a more soft, diffused little edge. And you can even take this if you want into the outer corner or the crease if you really want to blend that liner into the whole look. So instead of it looking like a separate liner, it kind of like blends in with the eye look. You can do that. I really love this brush and I love the eye brushes in this set because they really do inspire me. Like they are pro level brushes. They are detail brushes, brushes I would use when I was a working makeup artist. And you don't have to be a working makeup artist to like find that time and that inspiration when you sit down and do your makeup. I think it just makes makeup fun. You know, it takes the chore out of doing your makeup. And I think for most of us, if you're watching my content, you probably enjoy the process of makeup. But I mean, some people don't. You know, some people feel like it's a chore and they don't want to do it, which is fine too. No right or wrong way. But if you are someone that loves makeup and it's fun for you and you enjoy that time, I think you're going to love this set. I really, really do. Okay, so now that the eyes are done, let me go pop on some mascara and I'll be right back. Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara, one of my favorites. Actually, I take that back. It is my favorite mascara. Okay, now that I'm looking at the whole makeup, I really am starting to like this foundation. I definitely like it more than I did yesterday when I applied it. It looks really beautiful. Okay, let's blot the lips a little bit. I'm gonna go and line the lips with the lip liner by Dior in the shade Nude Ribbon. I love these liners. I bought this one first and then I bought another shade, which actually is pretty identical to it, the shade Nude Blush. They're very similar, but if you're gonna get one, I would go with the Nude Ribbon. We're going in with the Clinique lipstick in the shade Nude Pop. These are an underrated lipstick formula. They're not super creamy, but they have like this built-in primer that keeps them on. And I love the color. They did really great with these colors. This is the shade Nude Pop. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it doesn't look glittery at all on the lips. It looks really, really nice. It's perfect if you like a soft pinky nude. This combination is so good. Okay, makeup is done. I'm kind of loving it. I am loving it. I'm gonna go in with this product. I bought this yesterday and I forgot to use it in my video, but this is a new setting spray from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray Matte Blur. So this is what it looks like. It's hard to read. It's kind of got this dark bottle, which I actually kind of love. I'm gonna shake it up and we are going to set our makeup. Let's see how this sprays. Okay. Perfect. Okay. The makeup was already nice and natural matte, but maybe this will mattify it even more and blur it even more. Let's see. Ooh, makeup looks so good. I love this. Look at the eyes, you guys. Look at how just diffused that eyeshadow is. It's so soft and blown out. You can see the different tones, but it's very hard to see where they start and stop, you know? I mean, that is that N20S. I think you guys are going to love this brush. I'm so excited. Love, love, love. So that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so excited for you guys to get these brushes. If you end up placing an order, drop a comment down below and let me know. Once you start getting your brushes, please come back and tell me what you think. You can leave me a comment on my videos. You can DM me on Instagram. You can send me an email, whatever you'd like to do. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and support on this launch. Whether you're able to buy or you're not, just you being here and watching our videos and cheering us along just means so, so much to me, and I can probably say for Nikki too. So thank you so much. We love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.